The Spin-off Podcast Network.
This is Kiwi is back for a brand new season with more inspiring kōrero from special guests including rugby player, father and role model TJ Perenara.
My family bring me joy. Rugby brings me joy too, but it's not the same joy as my family brings me.
And global dancer and choreographer Kirsten Dodgen.
For some reason, people think I'm very intimidating.
Listen to the new season of This is Kiwi, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in collaboration with KiwiBank. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Are you curious about how business can be better? I'm Simon Pound, and I host Business is Boring, a podcast where I kōrero with some of the most interesting people in entrepreneurship, commerce, and making things happen. Tune in to Business is Boring every Tuesday, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in partnership with Spark Business Lab.
Kia ora and welcome to Lord Behind the Melodrama, a track-by-track podcast brought to you by the Spin-off and Spark about Lord's new album, Melodrama. I'm your host, Henry Oliver, the music editor at the Spin-off, and over 2 afternoons in May, I sat in a boardroom in Auckland and talked to Lord about the lyrics, songwriting, and production of her new album. In this episode, we talk about Sober.
Oh God, I'm clean out of air in my lungs. It's all gone, played it so nonchalant. It's time we dance with the truth. Move along with the truth.
There's a more linear progression in that song to Pure Hero than others. Was that something you're conscious of, or was it tempting to say release that as the first single to be like a kind of a softer landing for people? Or
No, I never thought about that as the first single, and in fact, I always just thought of that as like a weird album track that maybe no one would like, but that I loved. For a long time, it did exist as like a bizarre. It had way darker chords and it had no drums until the second chorus. It was like a bizarre piece of music. It was very slow, but the sort of, the brooding of it, we kind of tried to retain. That was like the one that really took probably the longest. It was a lot of consistent work on that song and a lot of not succeeding. And I feel like I was the only one that believed in it for a long time or understood what it could be. It was definitely one of the first ones that we wrote where I felt like I was in touch with what Melodrama was going to be. And it was instantly so visual for me, so overwhelmingly visual, and kind of the first thing that we wrote that really had the colours of the record, which was exciting. I think the melodies on that song are really cool, and there's certain phrasing things that I do.
Every been used to tie yourself to me.
I never would have done that on Pure Hero, and it's weird MJ shit. But I kind of loved that about it, and I loved, I don't know, I really love that one. So that was one that Malay really cracked for us production-wise. Basically, that drum beat was only over the very end of the song, and Malay was like, no, it's got to be the bed, and he took it and put it under the whole song, and we were like, oh, awesome. But we worked on it in LA at first, and then we went out to Coachella last year and got a funny little studio out in Palm Springs, and that was where we came up with that beat that ended up being the whole thing, and where we wrote the interlude as well. So Palm Springs weirdly helped us unlock that song as well.
So what's the colours of the record?
Well, the colours, there are a few, but the sort of governing colours are blues and violets and stuff, a lot of the main colours of the album art. And this song, I remember I was sitting in, it actually first started, I was sitting in Jack's house, because I would write in Jack's house. I was living in these shitty Airbnbs, and they had a bad vibe, so I would go and write at Jack's kitchen table when everyone was out, and then I would go to the studio at night, and I basically sung the whole verse and the pre-chorus, and it just I knew exactly what it was supposed to be, and it was super exciting. And I will never forget that the colours just it was the is it the elevator opening in The Shining when the blood just falls? It was pretty much like that, but blues and violets. It was so thrilling, and I think that is the most melodrama song there is. It has the most essence of melodrama, weirdly. Even though, you're right, it does bridge the gap, so to speak. But it was an interesting one. I wondered if, like, people who listen to me would even like it, but the response, even just to the live stuff, has been really awesome. And that's the one definitely the most in my Twitter mentions. Everyone's like, really sober, you bitch. I'm like, yes, thank you.
You're a queen of the weekend. Ain't a pill that could touch our rush. But what will we do when we're sober? When you dream with a fever, bet you wish you could touch our rush. But what will we do when we're sober? These are the games of the weekend. We pretend that we just don't care, but we care. What will we do when we're sober? When you dream with a fever, bet you wish you could touch our rush. But what will we do when we're sober?
There's the party, right, which is this kind of framework. There's the good times. There's some bad times.
Yeah, sober's definitely a bit of a hot mess.
That's what I love about it.
The party scale.
It's obviously
it's
like
the hot mess part of the party.
The party's still good, but maybe you're starting to think it's not going to be. You know?
Just starting to turn, yeah. And then by the time you get to sober 2, you know, it's definitely all over.
Yeah.
It's all kind of combusted. But yeah, that was sort of the first time, I guess, that we did sort of go to the party in the songwriting. That was an exciting thing for me to go there. And also, like, that song does do a lot of that thing that we talked about of, you know, we're sleeping through all the days. I'm acting like I don't see every ribbon you use to tie yourself to me. And then his body's all through my house. Like, it's just like it's all over the show in terms of where we are and where we've been. And I think the sloppiness of the kind of narrative is very much, you know, it's kind of drunk.
Yeah, and you're getting like out of your head, but not to the reflection, but to the future, like what's going to happen when this goes bad.
And I think, yeah, and what I like about this one,
like,
it weirdly feels like the most like millennial song on the album, which is funny, but I was so pumped to get the, these are the games of the weekend. We pretend that we just don't care, but we care.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is the essence of Melodrama is like, we pretend that we just don't care, but we care. We fucking care. And I'm going to show you, like, this record is like a document about that care. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like young people can identify with, like, kind of fronting about what things mean on Fridays and Saturdays and what, you know, dealings with other people mean. And then, but the crux of it is, we care.
Pretend that we just don't care, but we care. When you dream with a fever, bet you wish you could touch our brush. But what will we do when we're sober? We're faded, daylight, we're jaded. We know that it's over. In the morning, you'll be dancing with all the heart.
This podcast is produced for The Spin-Off by Yana Winter and Henry Oliver, recorded and edited by Yana, with additional recording by Jose Barbosa. Like all of The Spin-Off's music content, Lord, Behind the Melodrama, is brought to you by Spark. Listen to all the music you love, including Melodrama, on Spotify Premium, free with all of Spark's pay monthly mobile plans. Find more Spin-Off podcasts on iTunes or wherever else you get these things. For more from The Spin-Off, go to thespinoff.co.nz.
So that's that one.
Kia ora, I'm Alex Casey, Senior Writer at The Spin-Off. We wouldn't exist without the ongoing support of our generous members. If you're able to, you can make a donation at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
Kia ora e te iwi, Te Aihe Butler here, Podcast Manager at The Spin-Off. If you enjoy listening to our podcasts, consider supporting our mahi by signing up to become a Spin-Off member at thespinoff.co.nz/donate. The Spin-Off Podcast Network.